I'm prepping hot cocoa, so I'll be on for a couple minutes.
God, I still have that stupid cough. It's not like hugely bad, but it's involuntary coughing and it sucks.
Yeah, no, I totally remember when I got COVID and I had a cough that lingered for quite literally months. So hopefully it's not as bad for you.
God, I hope not. All right, there we go. Hello, stream.
Good evening.
Well, new intro time. Nothing crazy, but it's cute.
Very nice.
You did see that one, right?
Yes, I've seen all of them.
Okay. Yeah, the falling dice I thought was really cool. And they're D6s, and it reminded me of Dangle's thing. So I thought it was cool.
I'm really excited for Dangle's thing. I'm a little sad he's not here for us to grill him about it.
It's fine. He might end up being watching. Who knows?
He better not be watching. He better be asleep.
I mean, yes, but
we know he won't.
Right. Let's see.
Dangle, this is us bullying you into taking better care of yourself.
Right. There we go. No viewers right now, which is fine. So he is not watching. At least not yet. We did get a new follower. During the last raid, someone followed us.
Cool.
Yes. So yeah, we're just doing above the table tonight. It's just gonna be a talking night. Hey, Kraken.
She's back to her insomnia hours, so she'll be joining us more often.
That didn't take long.
R.I.P.
Well, you're the only one here right now, Kraken. Did you have questions about any of the games that you want us to answer?
Putting you on the spot.
Right? Well, look, engagement is fun.
Yay.
Wow, harsh.
Sure, we'll pretend like I wasn't the one picking out all the videos, but okay.
Obviously, you just go to our playlist and watch that. That'll take you for freaking ever. It took me like 4 days to get through Atlanta from episode 32 to 42.
Also, that means you have a lot of questions.
Kraken. I need to get back to posting them on Spotify. I'm really bad about that. But our games have also turned into a lot less describing things. So it's still a little awkward to just listen to it.
Yeah.
A lot of body language and movement and stuff.
And memes in the side chats.
Right. Well, that's a whole thing. We could actually move it to our live chats in the TPK Discord when we do things like that.
That is true. We probably should be better about doing that.
Yeah.
Oh man. We did that for a little bit, and then we kind of went back to our old habits.
That's because I was the only one who was starting that, and then people were answering in the normal Discord.
Mm.
It was also, I think we only had like one other person in our Discord chat.
It doesn't really matter. It's just that having a history instead of a lot of empty ones. How do you want us to be more podcasty? We were for a little bit, but VTM is just more fun when you're acting.
Mm-hmm.
We're like half LARPing when we do this.
That is true.
We're chair LARPing. Be right back.
Also, Kraken, if you have any criticisms, now's a good time to go through them.
I mean, fair. Getting stuff through context. It's okay. It's been a long week for all of us, I think. I've had to correct so many misspellings while I was at work today. It's not even funny.
Ugh.
What you got for us, Kraken?
Oh wow, 4 viewers. Not just Kraken, anyone watching. Okay, well Nena's 1.
I am as well.
2. That's 3. Who's the 4th? Can one of the next scenes that you draw be Layla and Chance bickering, where Layla asks him if he's jealous?
Oh my goodness.
That was fantastic.
Is there any way we can add a sprite of the OC we're playing?
You mean just a small picture?
Like next to the cam.
I could do that if I had one for everyone. It's weird when only some people have them.
You need to pressure Cosmic and Serga into giving character descriptions so I can get them done.
Yeah.
I'll bully Serga into doing that at some point here. We were, I still have the part 3 sketch of the Halloween one still. Might
It's
be a
never
bit
too late for
because
Halloween shit, Kraken.
Halloween is a state of mind. It is never, ever too late.
Spooky season never dies.
It lives on in our hearts for all eternity. Eh.
I mean, we're happy to have them.
Let's see.
I'm sure instead of playing Genshin, you could have worked on that part 3.
I've been really bad about getting through the artwork and stuff and configuring it on the overlays and shit. So part of that's me. I had to redo all the sorts of shit today. Because I fixed things.
For vacation too. So you spent your vacation playing video games. I see how it goes.
Oh, that's how it should be.
Dude, I didn't bring any of my consoles with me.
How dare. Look, you didn't bring consoles, you didn't get on stream. The hell, man.
I was
I'm just
enjoying the
giving you
country.
shit. I'm just giving you shit.
I know.
There's the floofer.
Potate.
Potato cat.
I need to pay a groomer to get traumatized and traumatize Eva. She's just... It's so hard. I have a professional grooming table, a belly loop, and a neck loop for her, and she still slips it and jumps off the table. I paid over $200 for that grooming table. I need to get one of the ones that connect her to both the top and the side. Like another loop, because Jesus Christ, this dog.
I have a hard time trimming the nails on mine because she's such a squirmer.
Yeah, we saw the potato picture. I told him he should do the felting and make a mini potato.
Oh, yes.
Because cat fur actually works easier on that than dogs. She's a floofy husky, too. Not like the floofiest. She's not a woolly husky, but she's a very floofy husky. She puts my dad's husky to shame.
Can confirm she is a floofy girl.
So floofy. And she freaks out if I even so much as pick up a brush. She hates it so much. It's awful. And I think before I got her, I think they shaved her down because her fur doesn't tuft outwards. I can't just like grab it and pull out a handful like you should be able to on a husky. Oh no, it gets trapped in her undercoat. It doesn't come out. So it's so awesome.
Yeah, you should definitely get a groomer then, because they'll probably give you advice on how to deal with that.
They don't. I've taken her to groomers. She used to... I would take her to a groomer every couple of months. But they never did. They just told me she's fine, and she's not fine when I try. So. But it's getting real bad now, and I actually feel bad at this point, but... You know... $150 grooming trip is painful. Anyway. Just imagine all the brushing Tori has to do now.
Oh, jeez.
Needs to get some ghouls who will do it for her.
Not the Revenants. They're actually taking care of the dogs. Mostly. They're not ghouled, though. So, you know. Gotta really know what to talk about right now.
Good.
Well, we also can't just have random silences for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, Mostly it's a pity Serga's not here. We had some very interesting conversations about character building the other night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So for those in the wider internet world that don't know, Serga and I are also in a werewolf game every other Wednesday-ish. And we during a little interlude last night, we had a conversation about character building and being intentional with planning flaws and merits, and how flaws can be a good thing. Because he was short version, his character was struggling with this super serious addiction flaw that gave him a two dice penalty to everything that wasn't related to getting his fix. So he was having struggles with that, and we talked about, well, what purpose do these flaws serve? Are there ways to negate that through role play and encourage a bit of a deeper connection between the character and the world as they try to navigate that? So yeah.
The flaws are really, really interesting. I wish there was a little bit more variety of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been tempted to go through V20 and pull out ones that I think would be interesting, because you've actually used one. You use one on Yuri, and Kosia did use one on Lottie too. She used the freezing touch, although we changed it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which would make a really interesting, because that one, like, plants and everything like wither as you touch them. We knocked it down a little bit and say you just come off as very cold feeling, and if you do prolonged touches to plants and animals, they have a hard time with it. Not just a quick brush. You actually have to hold on to them for a while. But there's such really interesting ones, because that one could just play off as just being like Blush of Life barely affects it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And there are definitely some crazy 20th edition flaws for both vampire and werewolf. Of course, the werewolf ones changed a little bit because they a lot of the flaws were like specifically for the metis. I was never quite sure how to pronounce that, but the werewolf born to other werewolves class, the outcasts essentially.
Yeah.
So I remember the very, very first werewolf I ever rolled up was she had the albinism flaw, and so she had a penalty to visual-based perception checks in harsh daylight. And along with some other social things, but that was the biggest mechanical thing with that.
That's interesting. I build heavy into the flaws on my characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love how they're actually required. They do make such interesting character development and moments and everything. Like, half of the problems Tori has is caused by her flaws. I'm not playing her right now, but Anna, her flaws are kind of crazy too.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun.
They'll come up when I play her. But it's just so integral to her character and how I have to play her, and same with Tori, and I don't remember what some of Layla's are, but they're pretty... I don't think Layla's are as bad as most of my other ones. My backups for Detroit, or not Detroit, my backups for Atlanta are also very interesting.
Yeah, let's see. Where was it? Was flaw. Oh yeah, okay. It was actually on Danny, my Nos that you guys saw in Atlanta. She actually has the Haunted Haven flaw.
Yeah.
And so I remember back when I was first making her sheet, and I saw this flaw and I was like, oh, it's such a cool flaw. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it's such a cool flaw. So once I gave her the flaw, then I had to kind of backtrack and justify it. And it was like, okay, so what kind of place is she living in? Well, she's renting out this in-law suite in the basement of this really old house on the edge of town or something. And someone died there previously and isn't happy with her moving in. And so that kind of, okay, so what does her relationship with that spirit look like? How does that affect her relationship to the other Nos, to the other characters that she's around? So that was it's really interesting to see what kind of jogs what in terms of creating characters.
Right, I had to look it up. Layla's are a lot of stuff on your end that she dug herself into getting to where she was.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge hungry. But I forget, I don't have it written down. I forget what I picked for knowledge hungry, because you have to pick a sub thing.
Yeah, I've got it written down somewhere. I'll have to dig it back out.
Yeah, I think it was one thing we talked about. I just forgot to write it down. Yeah, like that, handling those issues will be interesting.
Yeah.
She has less personal flaws than my other characters, but...
It was knowledge hungry kindred history.
Ah, yes. Thank you. I'll actually add that in right now. Right, that's why I was like, hey, Tremere, let me do the thing.
Yeah. That'll be a fun one to play with. You know, they're really... I wasn't completely and totally surprised that there wasn't much on Indianapolis in canon VTM lore. There actually was one thing. I was more surprised that there was something than the fact that there wasn't much.
What is it?
So it according to VTM raw lore, Indianapolis was kind of a no man's land for a very long time because of its triangulation between Chicago and Detroit. But in the early 30s, after a bunch of clashing had like wiped out a lot of the kindred population, I believe he was a Gangrel, actually claimed Praxis in Indianapolis. But here's the thing, he only lasted like a couple months because he was involved with the White Hood organization that we do not speak of. So he was not very popular to begin with already. And he was very sloppy with his feeding habits, and one of the Justicars, I believe, actually had to come down and deal with him permanently.
Oh, shit.
Leaving the seat wide open and unclaimed henceforth.
Interesting. So, in your indie history, when was it reclaimed for the cam?
Oh, it was in my version of it. It was actually reclaimed shortly after. Not necessarily reclaimed, but essentially given as a gift to the Justicar's underling that actually dispatched the former prince. And then after he kicked the bucket, Prince Harcourt stepped in.
Interesting. And that's who's there now?
Yes.
That's cool. Did she select her own Permission Council, I assume?
Yes. Yes. Most of it was rewarding her supporters that helped her essentially overthrow her predecessor.
Yeah, that's typically what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna be making that Bruja Primogen seat.
There isn't one yet. It's wide open.
You just gotta bring Bruja in for that to happen. They're typically at least a handful of them in the cities before they get a Primogen.
Mm. They'll probably be coming back now that things are starting to ramp up. After Harcourt's predecessor rose to power, things quieted down substantially, and they essentially got bored and left.
It will be interesting to see that happen if it happens while we play, because Bruja are fucking hated by the cam right now.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, at least. There's individuals, of course, but as a clan, they are, like, blacklisted.
Yep. Things will be stirring. There are people outside of the immediate area that are not happy with how quiet things are. Some concerns over stagnation.
Fun. Layla will happily go against the majority of her clan because she hates them just as much as the cam does. So that'll be interesting.
Sorry, my dog started making weird noises and it concerned me for a moment.
That's fine.
Oh, gracious.
There's actually a decent amount of information about Detroit in it. They even actually have a Detroit sourcebook.
Really?
Yes. I got it. I think. Pretty sure I got it. It's in our book list, I'm mostly sure. It's just PDF, but it was interesting. It was mostly about the transition from the, I want to say, the out of like Sabat, Camarilla things. So I didn't pull too much from it, but if you guys dig into the history of Detroit, you'll find things. But you need to find the areas for that, because the people you're talking to aren't talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I will say that has definitely been one of the interesting, well, I say interesting, but definitely challenging bits of stepping into the storyteller seat as a new storyteller, is going back through canon lore and having to decide, okay, do I keep this? Do I don't keep this? What's the backlash going to be if I don't?
Yeah, I didn't need to do that too much. Because I picked a spot where it was just the bot. They were just ousted. So I didn't need a Camarilla history.
Mm-hmm.
So that's partly why I picked Detroit. I regret it a little bit, because while Detroit does have interesting things and a long history, it's hard to... Like, there's not really a whole lot that screams kindred. Like, there's a long history, which is why I actually picked so many old vampires to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very old city.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, right now, there's not a ton interesting. Like, they're reviving it, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that has to go into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, I think Detroit's a pretty boring city. No, there's things, but it's overall kind of boring. Maybe it's just because I live here, ish. But yeah, I mean, you guys haven't gone to the interesting places like the I'm blanking on the name of it, but the market. You guys haven't gone there, and they do all sorts of really cool stuff there. You haven't gone to the plaza. You haven't gone to like the stadiums. Like, you haven't been to the interesting places because you're just kind of stuck up in your area-ish and then just visiting people.
We're putting out fires.
And that's fair. That's totally fair. There'll be some... It's hard to give downtime sometimes because it's just kind of like, yep, we just do the thing. And not go do stuff in the city, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine if you don't want to. It just makes it harder to bring that kind of stuff in without a problem happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been an interesting thing seeing the difference. It's not too dissimilar to Dangle's game, but you guys don't have anyone above you. There's no princes, there's no barons, so they can't just say, hey, go do the thing. Hey, there's a problem, can you go check it out? So it's interesting trying to come up with ways around that. Because if you do things for anyone, they're favors. So you've racked up a couple with Charlotte. Kat, not so much. Leon, you were taking care of a problem you guys caused. Unknowingly, but still caused.
Mm-hmm. It was still a fun time.
It was. It was. And, like, right now you're putting out a fire in your domain. With the cult thing.
Mm-hmm.
I say your, but, like, the group's domain. The next thing will be a tad interesting. If you choose to do it. If not, then we'll move on to the next one after that.
I'm curious to see what Rufus has been up to after being away for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a fun wrap-up thing. I need to look at how many games you guys have played in the current little, like, arc-ish. Because it was just... Did I finish off the Sabbat Week one in and of itself, or did I just continue it? I did, because we started a new one the game before Surga got there, I think.
That sounds right.
So it's only been like 4 or 5 games. Yeah, we got a little bit to go still. This is wrap up and clean up and poking at things time.
Speaking of wrapping things up and poking at things, what kind of favor does Zep owe T now for the blood bags?
Oh, he helped her take over the domain. Like, wrapping up loose ends, taking care of a couple kindred that weren't exactly thrilled with her taking it over, leftover Sabat, just general cleanup and wrap up.
Okay.
And while that was a little bit larger of a favor than she gave him with the blood bags, there's an issue going on with supply right now, too.
Which will affect us at some point, I'm sure.
Who's a bagger?
No one yet.
Do we know? Do we even know any NPCs that are baggers?
You guys haven't stumbled onto or asked or figured out any of their feeding styles. Any of them.
Well, I mean, we know Cat.
You know
'Cause we
Cat's
discussed
above
that at
table.
Yeah, above the table.
I know who the baggers are. Of course. But you guys haven't. But yeah, like, that's a background problem going on right now, is a bagging supply issue. So, Zep can ask a small boon from T, which is one of the things I meant to tell you the other night. You can pull a minor one from her.
Okay.
Just because of the amount of cleanup that had to happen and danger and all that stuff. It wasn't life-threatening, but...
Right.
It was more than 3 blood bags worth. Or a handful of blood bags worth. Yeah, T now has a ironclad domain.
All right.
And that place that I had told you about, Nen, is on the border-ish. It's just into no man's land, but it's on the border of T's. But maybe you guys will find out who the baggers are, because, like I said, issues. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything just kind of depends on what you guys want to poke at. There is Lasombra shit, there is Ravnos shit, there's not really Nas shit going on, but there's stuff with Spike himself. There is stuff going on in Cat's family. There is stuff on Belle Isle. There is stuff with Ellie. There is especially stuff going on at the casino, and also stuff going on in Ken's area. Buttons
Sounds like
kind of played a Nos for a second there.
I have a NOS planned. Kraken, don't worry.
Dangle has a Nos planned for Orlando. I have an idea of one, but I have no idea when or where I would play it.
Not like part of a coterie.
So, we have one on payroll in Atlanta. Not Barney or Franny.
Their Nosses can be besties.
Not sure how long my Nos would survive in a cam city.
What does that mean?
He's got some stuff going on.
Apparently. My idea for a Nos is a vlogger. With the whole rig set up to where it just kind of mimics their motions and all of that, except it's a little vampire.
Oh, yeah, I remember us talking about that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, a VTuber. It's a VTuber.
There you go.
That is absolutely my NOS idea. Tech all the way.
That is still fantastic, and I still love it.
Yes, VTuber NOS will be one of the will be a character I play eventually. So yeah, mine wouldn't get along too well in a Camarilla City either.
Mine does group therapy for burn victims.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking to me about that.
That'll be interesting.
And it would totally work. Because, technically, Nosferatu being seen are no longer so changed that they're an automatic masquerade violation. They're just super freaking ugly. So, like, all the art and everything of them being, like, pointed ears and, like, you know, actual vampire elf-looking things, aren't technically canon. But most Nos still look awful. In our games, at least.
Yeah. I think so far maybe Danny might be the most normal looking one we've come across.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because she had like half of her face missing.
Orlando's gonna have a fun Nos that you guys will meet.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She is actually the Harpy.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yes, a Nosferatu Harpy will be so interesting.
I mean, I get it. Does she have like an established social media presence?
Nope.
I wondered about that because I know that's one thing that Nos like to do is tech stuff, but then the cam doesn't like tech stuff, so gotta be careful with it.
Herself doesn't. She has people who work for her that have a presence online. But she's fun. She is I'm blanking on, oh my god. She's an holy shit. What is the bloodline? The bloodline where they're actually really pretty. Not Niktuku. Cleopatra. She's a Cleopatra.
Interesting.
But she has animalism and other social things. And they actually run a carrier pigeon network.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Yes, same.
It's related to what Kraken said about his last name being Burns.
Oh.
That character's name is Forrest Burns.
Oh.
But yeah, the NAS in Orlando have an online presence and also run a messenger network.
I like it.
Yes.
Very nice.
And because they actually, a lot of them go into animalism, they can actually do that. There's some gangrel that work with them too, but... Clearly you're looking in the wrong places because, oh boy, have I found some really crazy NAS.
Yeah. If you want crazy NAS, you should listen to LA by Night.
Jasper's great.
Jasper's great, but oh my gosh, Gary Golden and his crew.
Yes!
Yes!
He's great. So funny. Yeah. Good times there.
Should rewatch that sometime.
I didn't fully finish it. I got distracted and then just kind of fell off.
That happened with New York by Night. I got through the Anarch arc, and then I watched like the first 2 episodes of the Camarilla arc, and then got distracted and fell off.
I watched a couple episodes. I really thought the Gangrel on there was super interesting.
Yeah,
Very
he was
cool.
really cool.
And then the Zemitzi was great.
Of course.
I didn't necessarily like the Toreador. Like, it wasn't bad, I just didn't click with it.
Yeah, I love Abria so much. It was just the character archetype was not one that I click with.
Yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. So I just kind of fell off. But it was good what I did see of it.
Of course, Jason Carlin is masterful storytelling as always.
Yeah, it's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He recently did a Q&A on the World of Darkness server.
Yeah, I still need to see that.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but yeah. They did put out a recording of it, though, I believe.
Yes, I saw it on YouTube, so I'll probably be listening to it tomorrow while I'm at work, probably. Hopefully, if I remember.
Yeah.
I'm at my company Christmas party tomorrow after work, so...
Gross.
I mean, free food, I guess, and maybe drinks.
So, if you guys want to stay on a little bit longer still, we can talk about, like, character ideas and stuff.
I'm cool with that.
Obviously, VTuber Nas is just the most hilarious thing ever with the actual thing being a little vampire. Specifically a Nosferatu-styled vampire. Oh, Buttons, your camera went crazy.
Oh. I mean, I can technically turn the background off. Sometimes living with other people in the house means you have to share rooms, and sometimes they don't like.
No, I mean, like, your
camera,
entire camera looked like it just went insane.
Oh, jeez.
Hang on, this is crazy. I need to snip this.
Is it still doing the thing?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't even see it on my end.
Turn your camera off and back on.
Sure.
There you go. That's what we saw.
Okay.
Yeah, you went a little crazy. So it doesn't help with social interactions, with like in-person social interactions, which is why most of them find respite online. You could probably, it would probably be ruled that like you could tell something's a little off, but like their image would be covered completely. It's a gray area type of thing that would kind of depend on the situation, but probably enough to see like that's odd. Any of their obfuscate abilities would completely go and be null and void at that point when trying to do that, but it in and of itself, because you can't visibly see them, their bane doesn't come into a play. Or at least not much. But yeah, that's why most of them gravitate towards tech, is because you don't need to be seen. Other character ideas?
I mean, the character idea I have for Charleston has a lot of spoilery stuff to it, so I'll talk about what we've been going over through for Orlando.
We don't need to talk about characters you're going to be playing either. I haven't talked about my Charleston one. The Nas is not for Charleston.
Ah, okay.
The Nas is just an idea I had. It might be it might end up being a backup, but that's it.
Well, in that case, I will say there was, in terms of character ideas, I think I've mentioned this on a past stream before, but my very, 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 very first World of Darkness VTM vampire was a Tremere for a V20 play-by-post.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd set it up that they had all this other stuff aside from like the actual blood sorcery, because their sire had been keeping that knowledge from them, and now that they were out from under their sire's thumb, they were looking to up what they had lost. And that's definitely a concept I would like to revisit at some point. Just have a completely and totally off-brand vampire that knows like everything but what their clan is known for. And then have them try to relearn that over the course of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Go against the stereotypes like hardcore. You alright?
Another one that I've had an idea for is a La Sombra, but take the religious bent out of it. So there's not really the religious play there. Because that's not something I'm super interested in exploring, at least in that kind of aspect. Maybe a tiny bit, but wouldn't be like the trope for the character. The trope would be kind of a cleaver, is suffering against their bane to because they were engaged and are clinging desperately to their significant other, whether it's an actual cleaver, like he still thinks she's alive type of thing. Probably not. but more of a I'm just obsessing over you type of thing. And like I'm ruining every bit of happiness you have because you can't be with me.
Okay.
Which is I would pull probably from like things from Bloodstained Love. For like merits and flaws if depending on what they have and all of that. But there was a couple like homebrew ones that dealt with like obsession like that, which gave me the idea for it actually.
Interesting.
Whether stepping into oblivion or not, probably just because it's interesting. But yeah. So that's my Lasombra idea. Because I think Lasombra is a super interesting clan and the Bane is fascinating. But I'm meh, give or take on the whole, like, most of them are pretty religious. Which is no longer the case in V5, but it's still the stereotype.
That fervorous drive.
But yeah, the whole aspect of the I forget what it's called, but feeling no emotions. That
Apathy?
cold. That Lasombra get their bane.
Oh.
Whatever it is, it's like they get very cold and calculating. I don't like how I'm gonna have to play Feyla, but
Callousness.
that, like, can you wrangling with that with an obsession with someone you used to love,
Mm-hmm.
and watching that love turn into an obsession is just fascinating.
Oh, that would be very interesting.
That's the premise of that character. I've got so many ideas.
What about you, Nen?
I got plenty of bad ideas. Like my wannabe Viking Bruja.
I'm sorry,
Just-
what?
The wannabe Viking Bruja.
Can't be any worse
You-
than an atheist hunter.
What is going
Yeah, he wanted to be a Viking in his mortal life, and then got embraced, and then he learned about Gehenna, and now he kind of used that as his own personal form of Ragnarok that he needs to prepare for.
on? Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
I think Faye and I talked briefly about the concept of a pagan Lasombra at one point, like way back.
I actually, that's where I was going next. My Tremere idea is for a pagan Tremere.
Oh, that's cool.
They would have a haven / bookstore, and they would be an Osiris who has their gathering for like tarot readings and things like that. That's how they would feed. The croissant
I like
is here.
that. The toasty croissant.
But yeah, the Tremere would have the pagan bend, which I think would be fascinating. They would also have the Karna lore sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what the bloodline I wanted for them, but yeah. That was my Tremere idea. There wasn't really a big premise behind that one other than the interesting ties between old paganism and blood sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there was just like a thin blood, but just because blood alchemy is super interesting.
I need to read up more on like the actual alchemy.
It's really cool. Like you can mimic, so there's actually each tier of it starting from 2 on up, you can actually mimic disciplines if you have the blood of someone who knows it.
Okay.
Like, if you remember back, that's actually why Tori gave them 3 vials of her own vitae. Because she knows a shit ton of disciplines. And so they can pull from all of them that she knows, not just her in-clan ones.
Cool.
Yeah. So fun fact, if you want to get some stuff with the Thin Bloods, you can actually sell vitae to them. Might want to be careful about being bound, because, you know, blood magic and shit. But, yeah, you can sell vitae. Wanted to know what, Kraken?
I didn't say it was lame.
Oh, share your OC ideas with us. We want to hear all the ideas. We like hearing ideas. The borrowing vitae.
For Thin Bloods or for caitiffs? Because caitiffs now have a merit too called Mockingbird, which if you drink vitae, until the next time you feed, you can use disciplines known by the person. That's actually on the caitiff idea that I have. It's actually a character who's a backup. They are lying about their clan. Yes and no. There's, yeah. You guys can talk. I'm doing something.
All good.
So, my own caitiff idea was that he actually has like befouling vitae, and he also has the Ravnos clan bane, where he has to keep venturing out of areas. So he has unknowingly left a trail of destruction behind him, and is probably being hunted by several kindred.
Interesting. You're probably being hunted by more than just kindred at that point.
Probably.
Got the feds on your tail, man.
It's going to have several 5 dots and adversary and enemy.
Man, that'd be a lot. Let's see, befouling vitae. That's the one that essentially makes zombie corpses.
Yes,
No,
also with my caitiff idea. Sorry.
It's the one that makes, if you drain someone of their blood through feeding, they turn into whites after a few days.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
So, I guess I can talk about Anna a little bit. She's actually, we've taken to calling her a Foriador, because she's not a Toreador, but she fakes it. She's built as an assassin, and actually has used the white problem that comes from her original Embrace's bloodline to do hits. Because you can't unless Tremere get involved, you can't really trace that back to anybody. And how often are Tremere gonna get involved?
As many times as whoever's holding their leash will let them.
How often are they gonna trace a White's lineage back, though?
That is true. Usually someone ends up dead at the end of that. And then the White is just poofed.
Yep. So yeah, Anna's entire thing is built for, like, being an assassin. I was originally going to play her instead of Layla.
Yeah. That was when we were talking about doing the circus thing, which, ironically enough...
Yeah, ironically enough, is going to be actually a huge thing in Orlando. I was intending only for it to have a very small thing, but nope, not. Button said nope.
I am going to make this everyone's problem.
It was just going to be a Halloween thing. Like, legitimately, that's all it was, because I saw the video and I was like, that's really cool. That'd be fun to have pop up for a couple of games. Button said, nope, build around it.
Just little bitty bits here and there.
Which...
I just want to cause some problems and actually be like a... Yeah. Yeah!
So, that's a fun thing for people to worry about.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
There's actually a fairground in Detroit, I think, that could make an appearance in at some point. Just saying.
Yeah. There are several fairgrounds all across the state of Indiana because you can't throw a stone in a cornfield without hitting one in the Midwest. But yeah, there's actually a an established fairground where they hold the state fair every year that's not too far outside of downtown proper. And they actually had a Trump rally there way back when, and I got very mad because the traffic for that made me almost an hour late to my classes. You okay?
Yeah, my elbow popped really painfully.
Ooh.
Yucky.
Huh?
I was talking to the cat. I forgot, and I don't have to talk on.
Oh man.
That's all the active character ideas I have right now. I try not to come up with too many, and I don't want to talk about... I really want to talk about my backup for Atlanta, but I won't. My original backup for Atlanta actually was the Tremere. Because she was going to be part of... There's the Karna one, but there's also a sect of Tremere that are basically Salubri apologists.
I almost made Uriel and their sire Salubri apologists, but I was like, nah, I need to try and I need to move away and try other things. So
it would have been fun to play in Atlanta because you're playing a Salubri.
Yeah.
And just having like the awful sense of, oh god, we did this to you.
And now there's more than just me.
There's actually, instead of the character I picked for Dangle's next one, I was almost going to, and I still might play it as a backup character, but it is a caitiff who pretends to be a Tremere, who was originally embraced by a Salubri.
Oh, jeez. I love that so much.
Yes.
One of these days, I absolutely do want to play the flip side of the Salubri coin and play the absolute Sabbat loyal asshole. I really do at some point.
That would be very fun. I desperately want to play as Amitsi. However, I probably will never play one on stream. Or if we do, it will be in a Sabbat game, which will be very heavily like, be warned.
Sorry.
Because they will not be pleasant. But yeah, I very much want to play as Amitsi.
I need to look more into like the deeper Sabbat lore. Like I know a lot of the surface level stuff, but I need to look more into it again.
It's dark. It's dark. Yeah. If we do NPC games where we delve into like NPC stories and their histories and stuff like that, like we've originally talked about, there'll be a lot of them appearing, depending on who we delve into.
I will tell you there is a Salubri in Indianapolis that has Oblivion powers, so that's fun.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's fun.
Just let that sink in for a second.
The Salubri in Detroit are interesting too. One has animalism. One has... What was it?
We had a whole thing about it.
Yeah, there was... there is a thing in our background Salubri lore. But yeah, the other two were interesting. Only the animalism one ever came into play though, because she's got a bird.
Mm-hmm.
But each one of them know a different tree as well.
Yeah, if Shiloh survives the Atlanta Chronicle, she'll definitely want to go back to Detroit and spend a little bit more time with the Salubri there. Learn more about the whole Golconda thing.
I mean, funny you say that. Tori's like this close to just packing up and being like, peace out, bitches. There's very few reasons why she's staying, especially now. Yeah, there's background planning too going on, so that's fun.
Lots of stuff.
There's always background planning going on.
Yes. Yeah, fun times.
It's all good.
Maybe we'll get to that at some point. Depends on how a lot of things go. For involved character ideas, that's kind of all I've got.
I also have a hillbilly Hakata idea that I had.
What?
Hillbilly Hakata?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I actually want... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, care to elaborate on that?
He was basically a massive hillbilly. He got a scholarship to play football, and he ended up blowing out his knee, and while trying to figure out what to do, he found forensic science and decided he really liked it, and that got the attention of the Kata.
So, a forensic scientist, Takata.
Yeah. He was also a huge hillbilly.
Interesting. I think playing a cleaner in a Camarilla game as a Hakata would be interesting. That's a not really fleshed out idea I have that I would like to try at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my idea isn't really fleshed out either. I'll have to refine it.
I will say I will be playing a Malkavian in Dangle's next one.
Very nice.
Yes. It'll be interesting. I will say I plan to start at the destitute level.
Okay.
Yes.
Gonna play on hard mode this time.
This time? When don't I?
Yeah.
Have you seen Tori's sheet? Jesus Christ.
I actually have not.
I know,
but I trust your word.
I'm just saying, like, you've heard all of her flaws.
Yeah.
Obvious predator, blood leech, Methuselah's thirst. I always play on hard mode. Tori was my very first character I ever created, too. And I was like, let's dial this to 100. Yeah. Yeah, the Malkavian was going to be interesting. And I will say, because I actually plan on delving into the Madness Network.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. 100% that is the lore sheet and bloodline stuff that I'm taking.
Okay.
I'm debating whether to take the addiction stuff. It would be interesting, but it's also not something I'm heavily interested in playing and portraying. But it would be... It would fit the character? Not just because Malkavian, but because of the other things.
Mm-hmm.
But it would probably be the one where you don't take penalties. It's more of a merit instead of a flaw.
By functioning addict?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Any interesting hunter ideas that you two had as backups?
No. No. Not at all.
Nope. Yeah, no, I kind of need Rose to stick it out a little bit longer.
if Gladys goes away, whether by dying or actually stepping away, I will make a face. I don't know anything about it yet, but I will make a face.
I will honestly probably make another sniper. I love playing sniper builds. It'll be different, like background and personality and all that stuff, but functionally it'll have the same setup.
Yeah.
But if that happens concurrently with Gladys going away, I might lean a little bit more into the tech and like she can service her own weapons and make her own ammo and stuff like that.
Dangle and I haven't really talked about Gladys stepping away. I don't know, kind of depends on how things go. I know long term what's going to happen with her, but not upcoming games or anything like that. Yeah, if I have to make another one, I will make our face, because that's just something that I gotta do a lot. And it will be easier with the fucking stats to do it.
Mhm.
I don't really know all the hunter stuff off the top of my head, but I think maybe into animalism. I like the animal stuff, but I know you've been delving into that, so I don't fully know what else there is that we haven't really touched on.
Look at that book right here.
But again, if I go into the animalism stuff, that's a lot of what Tori can do, and I don't like doing that. I like having very separate characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have talked to Dangle a tiny bit about it. I don't know how it goes super well, but I have thought about playing a Thin Blood in our hunter game.
Yeah, I do believe you mentioned that before.
Because it would be interesting. Obviously a daywalker and all that stuff. But you can take things that, like, you're basically not a vampire. There's Vitae dependency, to which if you don't take Vitae, you don't heal like a vampire, you can't use any of your powers like a vampire. So you're functionally human-ish. And I just thought that would be interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if that came in with the characters the rest of us currently have.
Right? Right? Gladys would be like, man. Up yours, I'm leaving. But yeah, I don't know if it would happen because cross-splat stuff is eh. But the concept of it is super interesting to me. Playing a vampire who hunts other supernaturals because they just hate it so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Becoming Blade. Yeah, that's the only hunter I thought I've had.
Right.
But yeah, nah, I'd play a face or something. Wiki.
Kind of hoping Edgar doesn't die because I do like playing him. Because he can be kind of an asshole.
He's not really.
Oh. He can be grumpy.
Well, of course, he's old man who used to be mad lad. Of course he's grumpy.
I was tired, that was the only word I can think of.
I mean, it's a fitting word. I will say, the concept for Gladys absolutely came around because I saw the twisted Disney princesses, but like the roll bent ones, not their villains. The roll bent ones where Belle was the engineer.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely where the concept of Gladys came from.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Disney's Lorcana has that actually.
I remember hearing about that game, but I never saw much about it.
My cousin actually helps run games for them in his friend's game store. That's actually where I was last Sunday. I didn't play it, but I watched everybody.
What'd you think?
Interesting. I actually got a promo card, which is what I went to get. Oh. Come on.
Oh, Cinderella.
Yeah, but like Knight Cinderella.
Yeah, I see that.
Knight in training.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
Very cool. Because they have the roll twisted ones, which is neat. But yeah, that's actually, I saw the artwork for the Belle one, and that's where the concept of Gladys came from. And I don't know enough about Werewolf to have any character concepts for it, because I just haven't had the time to look into it at all.
It's interesting seeing the difference between Werewolf 20 and Werewolf 5e. It seems like a lot of it has definitely been not just changed, but also limited, but it's probably been limited for the better, honestly, because there was definitely some stuff in there that was problematic.
I mean, they did that with all of them, though.
Yeah.
Hunter used to have to basically be religious to play it because you were given endowments by a greater power.
Mm-hmm.
Vampire, there was a lot there.
Yeah. It's kind of different, like, knowing it and then seeing it, because Werewolf was really my introduction to World of Darkness. That's kind of where I've sunk most of my knowledge into W20. And so I saw more of the changes from W20 to W5 than I did from V20 to V5, because I came into Vampire like right as they were putting V5 out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really get too much of the V20 stuff.
Question for you then, why didn't you run a werewolf game?
Because I didn't have an idea for a werewolf game. I mean, I have definitely considered running a werewolf game after the Indianapolis saga ends. It just depends on whether or not I can come up with an idea for one by then.
The only thing I know is I would probably play one that started out as a wolf, because that's a thing now, and that's the only concept of a character that I have. Because the learning to be human thing is interesting.
Definitely, and I it's definitely been a concept that's talked about, but I haven't really seen it played out too much in fandom spaces.
That would be the character I build.
Let's see. In the Wednesday night werewolf game that Surga and I are in, I play a Bonar Theurge, which is kind of interesting because she's connecting to like these really like not necessarily like lowborn because that's a vampire thing, but like these the rat spirits, the crow spirits, the ones that most people overlook in favor of like the wolves and the ravens and the eagles and the great horned serpents and all that. And it's been really fun because they're these overlooked identities. They see more than most people assume they do. So she's been able to gather some things that other people don't really have the chance to get to. So that's definitely been interesting to explore. I love the spirit mechanics in werewolf.
Alternatively, a different idea I could do is actually playing one of Tori's siblings.
Ooh.
Because we've talked about if Tori wasn't embraced, she may have just awakened as a werewolf. I forget what the term for it is. But like playing one of her siblings would be super interesting.
That would be super interesting.
Either sibling or descendant of. Based on like age and all of that, because I don't remember how they age.
Slowly, if I recall correctly, very slowly.
Still feasible. It'd be on the older side, but still feasible. But yeah, that twist would be interesting.
Definitely would.
But there's a maybe there.
Maybes.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
Same here.
Right. Well, I guess we'll end things there then.
Might as well. It's 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Our time.
Not a super long thing, but it was fun and interesting to talk about shit. We didn't talk about the world building like we were originally going to, but it's fine.
Character building works too.
Game.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really talk about character building either. Just concepts and ideas and stuff. That's fine though. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Do check out our link tree. Go to Discord, like, follow, subscribe, whole 9 yards. You know, it's a thing. Thanks, and have a good one.
Have a good night.